Father?
Dee, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I know it's too early, isn't it?
It's fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Lots happening. Look, I know you got a lot of work to do, so I might as well leave. I just came by to say hi.
Now, that's not work. It's my annual list of things to do in the fall, and it was beginning to depress me anyway. Sit down. You're looking worlds better.
I am. Father, do you get depressed?
Oh, boy, doesn't everyone?
Oh, wow. Now, if I can believe that, then I'm really making progress. See, I always considered you a saint. Oh, I gotta tell that to Dr. Pagano.
You're seeing him regularly?
Yeah. Well, not today, and it's Friday, and that's bad because I have the whole weekend. I wanted to talk to him.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there was a whole mess that happened last night, and I had certain things I want to say to him.
Well, if you're looking for somebody to listen, I'm willing.
Oh, no, look, I don't want to use you as a substitute for my psychiatrist, okay? Well, you are very easy to talk to. I used to like going to confession, so I could talk to you. In fact, if I got back into the church, I would go to your confessional. It's on the right-hand side of the altar, correct?
Right. So you had some problem last night?
Father, I was furious. I'm living with Roger. We're not living in sin. It's that I'm sharing his apartment. I'm paying for my half of the food. Faith and Tom live upstairs, and Tom planned the surprise party for Faith because she's pregnant. He invited everybody that is, except me. So there was Jack and Mary and Maeve and Johnny and Roger. Now, Father, I am trying. I'm working very hard on myself, and I got that stolen money back, but that's another story. I can tell you that another time. See, the point is, I'm trying. I'm trying to be good, but I don't think they consider me good enough for Roger or for the Ryans. So Roger went upstairs, and he left me behind. See, he picked them over me. And then the party was over, and I heard them laughing on the staircase.
Not at you.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that then. I mean, I realize that now. Father, I've done something very bad, and I feel like I'm slipping backwards. I don't want to be crazy.
What did you do?
I dumped a whole box of bubble bath into the bathtub, and then I let the water run, and then I fell asleep.
Good Lord. Was there a flood?
Sort of. Yeah, but Roger got back before anything drastic happened, but he was furious. I guess maybe that's what I wanted to happen, but then we had a fight, and I walked out, then I came back, and I apologized. Father, I spent the whole night worrying. Do you think, am I crazy?
What is crazy, Delia?
Well, it's doing awful things because you're sad and you're confused. I think I did it mostly out of anger. I was angry.
It sounds like it.
Good, you really know how to say the right thing to a person.
Oh, do I now?
Yeah, it's just like Maeve. Father, I wish I could make her love me again. But I don't have that power over her. In fact, I don't have that power over anybody. Except me, maybe.
I think you've come a long way in a very short time. And as far as Maeve is concerned, you must remember you're the mother of her grandchild. That connection will always be there.
That's exactly what Siobhan said.
Siobhan Ryan?
Oh, you don't know. Siobhan is back.
Since when?
Since the other day. Oh, she came back with this funny-looking dog.
Well, I'm going to have to stop in and see her. It's just been, what, 4 years?
No, I think it's closer to 3. 3 years. See, I feel like Siobhan is the only Ryan who still cares about me. You know something? I'm going to give the others up. Let them have their parties. They're not going to wreck my life. And I'm not going to wreck theirs either.
The role of Pat Ryan is now being played by John Blazo.
This is what I really came for.
Oh, so much for your sudden urge to walk me to work.
No, I want to do that too. It's just that I smelled it in the backyard and it was driving me crazy.
Since you brought it up, what are your rugs doing hanging in the backyard?
Drying, I hope. Delia let the tub overflow last night.
Let the tub overflow.
Yeah, it was a small retaliation for my coming to your surprise party, to which she was not invited.
Oh, Roger.
She won't try anything like that again, I assure you.
Is it safe to leave her down there alone?
Perfectly. She may not like it, and she may fly into a temper now and then, but she's basically as sane as all of us. Tom left early.
Yeah, he had a business meeting.
Well, I thought he handled himself very well last night.
So did I. Every time I think of walking into that dark room and seeing all of you stare at Pat and I, if I wasn't so shaky, I swear I would have run.
Screaming?
Yes.
You managed to look pleased once Pat got himself out of there. There was such a big flap over your fainting at the hospital, everyone focused on that. By the time Johnny and Maeve finished their jitterbug, you seemed quite relaxed.
Good, because I wasn't.
Tom was covering up, too. I know how he feels about Pat. He's told me.
Oh.
And he certainly didn't show it.
It cost him. He made a terrific effort last night.
That's why he went running after everyone went home.
My, you were up late.
Oh, Delia was on the stoop when he got back to the house, and they chatted briefly.
Delia sits on the stoop at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Well, I mentioned that she flies into a temper on occasion, and last night was one of those nights. But she calmed down after talking with Tom. He seems to have taken her mind off of her troubles because he seemed so troubled himself.
Well, how nice that Tom was able to be of some help to Delia.
Faith, she was genuinely worried about Tom. And I must say that I'm concerned, too.
Roger, Tom is not going berserk. So you can just tell Delia that we'd prefer that she worry about herself. And be very careful that she does not flood this entire house.
Look, if Tom is under stress and his only outlet is running in the middle of the night, then maybe he needs some professional help. Short term, of course. I mean, God knows Delia's made tremendous progress with Al Pagano, and I think maybe Tom...
Wait just a minute. If Tom wants to see Al Pagano, he knows where to find him. He does not need Delia to set up an appointment for him. And I don't need you slithering up here and laying that woman's idiotic opinions on me, all right?
I'm sorry, that was not my intention.
I'm sorry, too. But if you honestly think that Delia is an authority on Tom's emotional state, you are the one who needs help.
Well, maybe we should all line up outside of Al's office. Family therapy.
Yeah. Oh, it's more like mass murder. Now, Tom does have a problem with jealousy and anger, but that's under control now. He passed a big test last night. I've got problems, too.
The pregnancy.
And Pat. He means a lot to me. Too much. But that's under control now, so it's going to get easier. So don't be concerned.
And don't meddle.
Right. Tom's okay. I'm okay, and Pat's okay.
By George, you did it.
Only because you said I couldn't.
Want to take a rest?
Not if you can spare about 3 more minutes?
Well, how's 5?
Oh, you're so nice to me. It really is just a question of using the muscles, making them work for me, don't you think?
Yeah, but don't get too carried away. You have to build up your... Let's head for the chairs.
I did that on purpose. I did. I was checking your reflexes.
Right.
It's like a dance step.
We call it the collapse.
That's good. I like it. Pat, please, I have to keep going.
Either you sit or I get a wheelchair and take you back to your room. You know, you really are quite the fighter.
In my own quiet way.
I used to think you were sort of a...
Drip?
No. A petite, bright.
Scatterbrain. Go ahead, say it.
No. If you be quiet for a second, I'll explain myself. I remember you doing cartwheels down the street. You must have been about 10, and I was in high school.
Out of my league.
I was into combing my hair. But I did notice how graceful you were. And years later, once Frank got into politics and we saw more of your father, I heard how smart you are. Summa cum laude and all that. I guess I just assumed it all came easy.
Like I floated through life?
Now she hates me.
No. But I do feel obliged to set you straight. For one thing, I am not genius smart. I had to study like mad. For another, anyone who's a dancer lives with agony. Bodies don't want to stretch and bend and fly. You have to struggle to make them. And as for the cartwheels, do you realize how much broken glass was on those sidewalks? I had to develop nerves of steel so you could write me off as a butterfly.
I didn't know you were funny either.
Mostly I'm funny by mistake.
Well, so you work and struggle and compete. I think that's great.
I just don't like to be obvious about it.
I do very much the same thing.
I thought you were born perfect.
Well, now, don't be mean.
Really? Pat Ryan was the natural wit, the life of the party, everyone's friend, plus a handsome doctor and a good son. You should hear my mother go on.
And you bought all that?
Sure. Was it a cover?
For one thing, I'm not genius smart. I studied like crazy. And for another, anyone caught between Frank and Kathleen Ryan on the one end and Mary and Siobhan Ryan on the other lives with agony.
I think that's Nancy Feldman.
Yeah. I guess Pat is okay.
Do you remember when we were 9 and there
So, finally, I got my boyfriend to take me home, after which I headed right back to the coffee house so I could sit quietly and listen to this wonderful poet with a funny accent. And that's how we met.
You and the poet?
I think she meant her date.
No, Jack, I knew my date, and I thoroughly loathed him. His name is Andrew. Your date? The poet. And he is gorgeous. And he's also a sheep farmer and owns about 1,000 acres in Australia, if you can believe that.
Oh.
I didn't believe it myself till he showed me a picture of he and his mother at home.
His mother,
Right, they all say that, huh? All those Australian sheep types.
Ryan's all settled in, Ma.
Right.
Do you mind if we don't come back till 6:30? Mrs. Shaw is here.
No, anytime, anytime.
To get back to the story, Andrew and I became really good friends before he had to go off to Australia. And the parting was so difficult that he asked me if I didn't want to go, you know, along with him. However, I had...
Oh, Father.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Jack. It wouldn't be Siobhan.
It would. How are you? Still the world's handsomest priest.
And you are just as outspoken as ever.
Oh, Father, she's made a lot of progress.
Oh, come on, Mother. I wasn't that bad.
Oh, before you left, you were a lot less tactful than you are today. That was a lovely mass this morning. I'm so glad you decided to say a few words.
Ma said you talked about families.
Yes. And I no sooner got back to the rectory than I was talking about your family. Dee came in to see me.
No kidding.
Good for her.
She's making wonderful progress. When she told me you were home, I wanted to come and say hello for myself. And perhaps get a look at that dog of yours.
Oh, no, it's Daddy's dog, and they're out right now, but they'll be back soon. Finn is a truly noble animal.
With a truly noble appetite.
Yes. Siobhan rescued him from the streets of Seattle. Well, now, what Seattle lost, we gained.
Daddy has always wanted an Irish wolfhound, and he loves him.
An Irish wolfhound, I'll bet he does. And I wish I could stay to see him, but I've got an altar boys meeting. If you don't round up a few of them, they all disappear for the summer.
You can't blame him for that.
No, especially on days like this.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll see you on Sunday. Stop by after Mass, we'll have coffee and a real talk.
I won't be at Mass, but I'd love to have a talk.
Siobhan.
I don't do that anymore. I stopped a couple of years ago. But someday when I'm out with the dog, I'll stop by, ring your bell, and we can have a walk together.
I'd like that.
Couldn't you stay a little bit, Father? Dad'd be sorry to miss you.
Well, no, I'll see him on the way down the block. Let's make that walk soon, hmm?
Okay. Thanks for coming by.
I'll see you to the door, Father.
Something wrong? My face is dirty. Spinach on my teeth?
Why'd you do that to your mother?
Do what to Mother? What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb, Siobhan.
If you're gonna talk in riddles, don't expect me to listen.
Come on, kitchen. You humiliated Maeve in front of Father McShane. I also suspect you shocked the hell out of her. She didn't know, did she?
No, what?
That you left the church.
Oh.
You don't want to discuss it? Fine, I won't waste my time.
Hey, look, what was I supposed to do? Lie? Tell him I'd be there when I won't?
You could have smiled and kept your mouth shut.
That is a cop-out.
Or a kindness, depending on how you look at it.
Mother was gonna find out in a couple of days anyway. Would it have been kinder if I'd waited till she handed me my prayer book on Sunday morning?
Almost anything you would have done would have been better.
Mac didn't bat an eye. Half our family's in trouble with the church anyway. Of course, not Mary. You and she were living together at one point, weren't you? Of course, she wasn't exactly a daily communicant then, and neither is Pat, and nor big-time Frank. I can't go along with it anymore. I honestly can't accept all those rules and regulations, mysteries. There's just too many questions I want to answer for myself, thank you. At this point in my life...
Look, you're talking theology. I'm talking about treating your mother rotten. Okay? I'm preaching. But Maeve deserves better. Now, you told me that you always feel like you're on the outs with her and Mary. Well, now maybe I see why. With you, honesty's a weapon.
Oh, and how good have you been to Ma?
She's been very good to me, and I know it.
Oh, I see. Siobhan the ungrateful. You're falling right in with the family line.
You were mad at Maeve. You took a shot at her in there, for whatever reasons.
Yes, Father Vanelli, whatever you say.
Don't do that.
Oh, look, I'm not your wife, so just don't lay down the law to me, all right?
You're great at telling the truth, but you don't like hearing it too much, do you? I'm giving you a fairly objective opinion. Now, if you can't accept it, you can at least think about it.
Jack, what you are giving me is a beginner's opinion. You have known my family 3 pathetic little years, and you hardly know me at all. And from what I hear, this adorable son-in-law routine is just a new thing. So if I were you, I'd lay off my behavior and pay a little more attention to yourself. That ought to be hard enough.
You're quieter and prettier than your father, but you got the same mean streak.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's just about what he'd say.
You know the way you used to be? The way they all wrote about you in their letters? I had to have a certain respect for this thing you had about telling the truth. Even that awful article that you wrote about Frank, Daddy sent me a copy. Well, I admired it. There was a kind of integrity there. No compromises. You told it just like you saw it. But I don't want to do what you have done. You see, you have sold out. You keep your mouth shut and smile. Maybe you've mellowed, but I think that's kind of sad, and I am never going to go that way.
Then you'll never make peace with your family.
I might. What makes you think you've got all the right answers for me? I mean, you're as bad as the church.
You weren't mad at anybody in there then, huh?
I don't want to hurt them. I like Mac. I love my mother to the point of desperation, and I just got this thing about getting through to her.
Well, you did that all right.
And you think I'm a witch?
A pain in the neck, sometimes.
I don't want to be like that.
So grow up.
You've got one hell of a nerve.
Yeah. For somebody who sold out.
You creep! So how did you change? What was your first step?
This Thursday, a long-term relationship needs a short-term miracle. Sounds like a job for the guy who wrote the book on relationships. An all-new Greg Barron's Wake Up Call, part of Sugar Free Valentine's, Thursday at 10 on SoapNet.